If there's anybody else that consider themselves an expert in critical thinking, whether they wrote books about it or not, I just came up on this YouTube channel, I guess, called Elon Musk Live, and this was posted the 13th of January, and I wasn't even halfway through it to say, man, ignoramuses would love this. Elon Musk just revealed this about the James Webb Telescope. If you listen to this and you're not an idiot, your intelligence should feel insulted. So if anybody that's an expert, like I claim to be, about critical thinking wants to challenge me on evaluating this video properly for how, it's more propaganda than science education. And I'm not saying a lot of the science is wrong, but a lot of it is watered down to be incorrect. But it's also, there's it tells you that you should pretty much worship Elon Musk for saying things that already way before this date, dozens, if not hundreds of videos online have already explained and said the same things, and probably even better than this angelic figure Elon Musk would have said. You guys are freaking insane, listening to stuff like this and not questioning. So I'm going to give you, the Doctor of Eugenics just revealed what can be done with the James Webb Telescope that nobody's talking about. Is if you can see a beetle, let's say on the moon from Earth, with that thing at a size that is as big as our heads, but really much bigger, is imagine when it is at L2, this place that they don't fully explain why they've chosen. At L2, do you know that if James Webb spends 10% of its time looking at the Earth, looking at the people primates as a species, or even individual people primates, that it can do a hell of a lot more by itself than what you think, the vaccines may or may not have as, nanotechnology that probably would not even be evolved enough to not be dissolved by your own, systems, like immune systems or just other ways that your body kind of can get rid of that stuff. And by the way, about morphic resonance, is those types of waves, if they exist, if we stop giving up on science that tells us about reality, unless there's a profit to be made, is if we stop giving up on that stuff, we will find out that things like 5G and other forms of technology are actually disrupting, they're anti-life, they're disrupting things that follow the the concept of evolution. And if you, all right, I'm going to talk about James Robert J. Sawyer at some other time, but if you, there's an interesting interpretation of a God in there. So if you want to believe in a God or pray or live a divine or heavenly life, it's really contributing to the concept of evolution, because instead of saying God, it's really there are things we don't understand of how evolution is a concept that is multidimensional, that involves a hell of a lot more than the 3 or 4% of what we understand about it, and it's everywhere. It's not just on Earth. It's a concept of an unfinished universe that's working towards stuff, and morphic resonance is probably one way that if we don't give up on studying that because it's hard and we want to make better phones or better cars or better weapons instead, as a failed species, is we're idiots. So turn James Webb towards the Earth and study this, and then you'll see that you can know so much about the Earth because of what it can do that we've ever learned. But again, there's not videos about this because you guys don't want to celebrate Earth Day anymore, not even once a year, much less every week or every day, which is what it should be to evaluate how healthy our worldviews are, that they are actually ecocentric. You guys want to celebrate human chauvinism, anthropocentric days every day of the year. So I don't know if they're ever going to turn James Webb, or if they already are, as a way to control people or not. But if they ever turned it on Earth with altruistic purposes for science and solving the issues that we create, they're not the natural world is misbehaving, that we create, including, even studying our brains, really. You can study our brains with this as a species in many, many ways. And it could be that it's happening. They're really trying to send a lot of information out there to get your attention that it's pointing somewhere else in the Earth. And I'm not saying it's not. And if it's not, again, it proves HSD, right? But even if it is, it's explained. Conspiracies are always explained by HSD. It's within the realms of the grand unification theory of the social sciences and this failed species that we belong to.